Hello, friends. Welcome to another episode of TV is Our Real Mom. I'm Dave.
I'm Catie.
And you are listening to our weekly Fargo podcast in which we share our thoughts on the latest episode of Fargo. And Catie, what'd you think of Wednesday night's episode?
I thought it was the tits.
Really? That good,
dude,
huh?
this episode was the bomb.com.
Nice.
Just keeps getting better. That's the Fargo way.
Yeah. Is that how all the seasons have gone? Like, it just keeps getting better?
Well, the second season was pretty strong from the jump, but season one, definitely.
Right, yeah.
But to be fair, I've enjoyed this season from the beginning. But, of course, it's picked up steam the last 3 episodes or so.
Yeah, so where do you want to begin with this episode? Well, there's a lot to talk about.
Yeah, you're right. Well, I think we should talk about Sai because he's our favorite. My favorite. I guess I don't want to speak for you. And just how devastated. He had like 1-2 scenes, I guess. But he just, I found it completely just heartbreaking. His little scene with his wife.
Right.
Who's not fat, by the way.
The quote is, "The world is wrong." And then you know the rest of the quote? I can't remember it.
I don't know. He's just breaking down. Like you can see him trying to fight off the breakdown, but his wife being all cozy and talking about his daughters and making butterscotch pudding, which is probably what he finds right with the world, makes him see how wrong the other part of his world actually is.
Yeah, he was kind of blubbering while he was saying it, but it was something along the lines of, like, it looks like the world I know, but it isn't it. Like, this is not the world I know. Like, the world is wrong. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's very down. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
sad.
Do you think in any way the writers of the show are like, is this meta in some way or not meta? I guess maybe symbolic of our current times. Do you think they're...
I think there's a lot of ways in which this season of Fargo in particular can be where you can draw parallels to our world today, particularly with VM Varga and his take on the truth. I think you can draw some definite parallels there, but yeah, I mean, that's one of the great things about Fargo is no show is a peak show unless you can take from it something to apply to your own life. And Fargo is, without getting into specifics.
I think that's one of my favorite parts about the show is it really does tackle themes that sort of like transcend the show like quite a bit, where without even really thinking about it, you get a sense of, wow, this show is like so deep. It's giving a lot more meaning than just what the surface level is. It applies to the times, you know, what's going on.
Yeah, on the
today.
surface, it's such a bizarrely mundane show, but there's so much underneath that
right.
facade.
Yeah. So did you have more about Sai you wanted to say?
Well, I mean, there were a couple other scenes with Sai. I mean, we have to talk about Emmett, who up until this point has been, you've kind of looked at him as kind of a decent guy who's just kind of gotten into something. But kind of like with Lester in season 1, once someone close to him gets killed by his own hand, he's kind of taking a turn. Like it's let something loose in him. And in Emmett's case, he's being controlled by VM Varga. He's buying into everything Varga's telling him. But I guess you could have said that Lester was kind of manipulated by Lauren Malvo too. So there's parallels there.
Yeah, yet another parallel that, you know, works between all seasons. So many themes that transcend all the seasons, you know.
Yeah.
That's another good one there. But yeah, I think my favorite part of the episode was Emmett, like, being so terrible at covering his ass. Like he walks right up to the cop and says, and basically spits out
I've been here since 6.
spits out an alibi before even being told his brother's been murdered. Like, how awesome is that?
Not even told his brother's dead, let alone murdered.
Yeah, and
Like,
he immediately starts the conversation with an alibi, and also, you know, immediately says that Swango had a motive, and I think even that was before being told that he was dead. Like, he's giving a motive for the killer before even knowing that his brother's dead. Like it is beyond terrible. It is like, put the handcuffs on him immediately. Like,
it's one of those reactions you hear about in those like true crime shows where they were like, he just acted strange. He wasn't acting the way you should act when your brother dies. You know, it's like textbook. But before it happened, like, they show him like got kind of zoning out. So I thought he was going to go up to her and just nail it. But he went the opposite direction.
No, I just thought that was so funny, man. Like, it was hilarious.
It was really, really bad. And even Sai, you considered kind of a bumbling idiot in some ways too. But even Sai was looking at him like, whoa, man, what are you doing? But I guess Sai didn't know.
That's one thing I started to notice in this episode, is that Sai is sort of like, Sai is starting to adapt to this a little more than Emmett is, I feel like. Sai is more, he's becoming more criminal minded, and he's thinking ahead a little bit. You're starting to see, you know, reflections of that. But yeah, Emmett just cannot do it.
No, I mean, at the same time, you feel a little bad for him, but not, I don't feel bad for him like I used to. Like, before it was kind of like he's fallen into this trap, you know, a lot of it is not of his own making, but, and even his brother's death wasn't, but the way he's handling it is turning him into something Fargonian.
Fargonian. Yeah, I mean, maybe it was just because he had one too many old fashions, but yeah,
what was with his little speech there in front of the widow?
Well, he basically just like vented, right? I mean, on the surface, he like tells, you know, the story about how his wife found a fake sex tape of him or whatever.
Yeah, just nonchalant.
Yeah, but like that, but then he gets into the deeper, more meaningful stuff, which is him basically saying that the real problem with the world today is like the rich, or the people who aren't rich, they feel like they can just take from the rich people, like they're entitled to what they've earned, you know. And that's sort of reminiscent of what Fargo was telling Emmett a couple episodes back. It's like he's sort of, like you said, Varga's getting to him, and he's taking on sort of the mantra of Varga, you know. That's what I noticed.
And you can see him in a way justifying his brother's death that way, because his brother was literally his whole life trying to take from what Emmett had made.
Right. Yeah. Ray.
So he has a personal stake with that.
Right. Ray fits right into that narrative, so makes perfect sense.
But do you think the widow's gonna? That wasn't a great performance. You think she's gonna go for it?
I mean, didn't he kind of insult her by saying that, like, I could buy you out right now or something?
Yeah.
He's like, you know, maybe I'll just buy you out. And it's like, oh,
kind of putting the cart before the horse there.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I don't get the Widow Goldfarb storyline as much. Maybe you can fill me in. I mean,
well, I think it's
understand what's going on.
I think there's going to be some type of payoff. It's hard to know what it is right now, but you heard him or Emmett and Sai talking about how they can dump the whole business onto her and not feel bad about, you know, any problems she might reap because of it. I think she's just there as an escape route that they could take. But at this point, I think it's too late, because I think Emmett's bought into the Varga stuff.
Right. Yeah, I don't see how they can possibly just sell this company and get out. There's nothing they can do about it.
Honestly, okay. This is what I was thinking of last night when I was falling asleep, or trying to fall asleep. Do you think a thing, like, he's not really there for the money? He's got a personal thing with Emmett.
Varga?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, obviously, and we kind of talked about this, um, like when we were messaging about the episode or whatever, that there's got to be something more deeper going on, right? I mean,
Yeah.
obviously. So you're saying that he has some kind of personal connection to Emmett?
Like his whole purpose in going here, he's spinning this yarn about all this money they could make. All this, they're going to triple the size of the business or whatever within 6 months. We also know that Varga believes that truth is relative. We don't really know what the truth is in Varga's life. I don't know what his company is, if it's just him and these two goons and a truck, and that's it. And it's all just a show. And he has some kind of personal goal in bringing Emmett down.
Yeah. Are you, do you have someone at the door?
No, that I was tapping something on the table. Sorry.
Oh,
My bad. Nobody at the door.
Yeah. Is that housekeeping? Is housekeeping there?
No.
And the
I am
cops,
housekeeping
the
here.
cops right behind them.
Nope. No cops.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I just don't know what that connection would be like. Do you have
Well,
any
of course
theories?
not. I don't. But
You just
I
think
just
there's a connection there, and that's his real purpose.
I feel like it's solely focused in on Emmett and not so much his business. Like this is what I was thinking of last night when I was going to bed. There's like Emmett symmetry, okay? You even have a duplicate of Emmett. You have Emmett and Ray.
Mm-hmm.
You have, when they show Emmett's house, it's like perfectly symmetrical. And you have Emmett and Cy are a team. You have Emmett and his wife are a team. Varga is systematically removing these pieces and taking away the balance in Emmett's life. And then at the end of the episode, you see this symmetrical shot of Emmett on one side of the stairs and Varga on the other side of the stairs, right, when he's saying the crooked man speech. Right. Saying how there once was a crooked man. And then I got to thinking, oh, well, he's making Emmett the crooked man by taking away all this life. And now Emmett's becoming the crooked man. But what's his goal? Why is he doing this to Emmett? It just all feels very personal to me.
Yeah, I guess that's the big mystery. I really like where you're going with that. Ultimately, yeah, we don't have enough information to say
as usual,
yeah. But I really think that you're on something there, because like I couldn't really figure out like what the crooked man story meant. Varga's always giving us analogy stories, and sometimes I kind of get what he's hinting at, and this time I didn't really. Other than I'm trying to like understand what the meaning of that story is in general. Is it that, is it that the world has something for there's like something for everyone in the world? Like the world can be whatever you want it to be. Like even a crooked man can find a crooked money and buy a crooked
I feel like if the point of the story is that the crooked man has a crooked house and a crooked cat with a crooked mouse, then in his mind, even though everything's crooked, everything's right.
Right. And that's how villains can be, that's why villains are villains, and that's why inept people and idiots are idiots, and they just see the world for what it is, for what they see it as. And back to perception and storytelling. And let's segue right into this, the part with Yuri in the police station, like basically spinning this yarn, like you think you see me, but you don't, like really tying into all that stuff. So it, once again, just driving the perception thing home.
Yeah. And the shot with those two on the stairs, and the fact that you see Varga next to the bear and then Emmett next to the Christmas tree, like, I don't know, there's something there. Like you think it's right. Everything's right in your world, Emmett. Everything's symmetrical, but it's
so do you think the show is trying to tell us something as viewers about like what we're perceiving? Like, is this going to be the season that has some kind of weird twist to it where we've been perceiving things incorrectly? Or,
I hope so. And I hope it's something we can't even predict. Right. My gut feeling is that Varga is just nothing. Like, the reason he has a cheap suit, bad teeth, is because he's nothing.
Right, like that's a really good theory. I think that theory has legs, honestly. Like he's
Right.
just some guy that put on this big show and
found these two goons.
Yeah, so where the question is, like, they borrowed money. So does all Varga need to do is pretend that he's the guy who lent them the money and walk in and strong arm them?
It could
basically
be. I mean, they went to the whole 2008 financial crisis thing, and part of the reason that happened was because the illusion of money came apart. You know what I mean?
Like, right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally. Something to yeah, sorry, I lost my train of thought.
That's okay.
But no, I'm like 100% on board with this theory. Like, I didn't think of it until now. I don't know how long you've been entertaining that thought, but like, I give you mad props because I think that's exactly what's going on. I think Varga is actually, he is not anybody special. He's just really good at conning people. I mean, look at how his main skill is hacking. And so how easy is it for a hacker to find these easy targets and find out that these guys borrowed $1 million and to put this scheme together? I think it makes perfect sense. I think that's where things are heading.
I'm sure there will be some twists and turns along the way.
Sure.
But yeah.
Yeah, I like twists. Like,
me too.
Keep coming.
Like the ending of this episode. Oh man. I mean, not the bus crash. That didn't make me happy, but the person on the bus, like, that made me really, really happy.
Yeah, Catie loves her season 1, right?
Yeah, Mr. Wrench was like my favorite character in season 1. And don't ask me why, because he was bad. Like, he was a hitman. But I don't know. It was just something captivating about him. And
yeah,
he's back. He's made an appearance in season 2, and now he's made an appearance in season 3. What do you think they're saying with that?
I don't know. I think it could just be an Easter egg. Just, we need something to tie all these seasons together. Like, he's the link.
Okay, but hold on. Not to jump ahead, but like, not that we're doing this in any kind of order.
Well, this is the end of the episode we're talking about.
Yeah, we're talking about the end of the episode. Nikki's on the bus. Yuri jumps out in his wolf mask.
His wolf mask. Are you Sean Connery?
Yeah. No. Anyway,
Schwartz for 500, Alex.
Do you think? Okay, because Mr. Wrench, for those of you who may not remember, was shot by Molly in the same episode that she got shot by her future husband, Gus. And he was in the hospital bed, handcuffed to the bed, and Lauren Malvo, the bad guy in season 1, paid him a visit and said, no one's gotten that close to getting me before. And he set him free because he, like, respected him. Yeah. So Mr. Wrench has been on the loose for the last 4 years, because that was 2006. But apparently he's been picked up. So do you think that Yuri is crashing the bus to get to Mr. Wrench?
Oh, shit.
Because they are two goons from 2 different seasons. And what is their goal with Nikki? Aren't they just supposed to frame her for the murder? So why do they want to tip the bus over and get her? You know?
Yeah, because the goal was if the goal was to frame her for murder, the job, mission accomplished, right?
She's on the bus. She's going to jail. She's,
But I mean, keep in mind that before Ray was murdered by Emmett, they were being sent to kill both of them. So.
But he gave instructions to someone. Who was there at the apartment? One of the goons was there.
I don't know.
And I can't remember if it was Earbuds or Yuri.
I don't know.
But you have to assume that Yuri has received the instructions of the new plan, because Earbuds did.
So you're saying new plan doesn't involve killing Swango anymore, even though they originally...
No, because they want to frame her for the murder.
Right, but yeah, I suppose you're right. Yeah, that was my only thought, was like, okay, so yeah, that kind of brings us to this then. Who was the cop guy, the creepy cop guy with the syringe? Is this just happened to be a creepy rapist cop that was going to drug her?
What the hell was that?
Was this guy just going to drug her and have sex with her, or is he colluding? Is he in with the other guys? Like,
I don't know.
was he going into that cell to kill her? Because I mean, you could theorize that he's with Yuri and Earbuds and Varga, and he's trying to kill her, or it is just a rapey cop, and he does this to attractive inmates. You know, like, because that's a thing.
It's either a rapey cop, which is where my mind went at first, which
Mine
is I don't
too.
know where the syringe comes in.
Well, you drug them so they don't resist.
Oh, so she doesn't fight? Okay.
Yeah.
It was either that or for some reason my mind went here and I thought it was someone from a job she was a part of before she met Ray and got out of jail, like someone she'd worked with in the past or something. But they never said any as much. That was just my instinctual thought. But I don't know. That was really creepy. But or maybe it was just a plot device to get Gloria in the room.
Did you recognize the guy that played the rapist?
Oh, I knew who it was before they even showed his face. I was like, it's DJ Qualls.
Yeah, I saw that because they didn't not show his face. I mean, you couldn't tell by his hands, but they showed.
No, but like there was like a creepy figure in the background, and by his voice, you could kind of tell.
Yeah, they showed like a profile kind of shot of him, and you could tell who it was. Yeah, but yeah, DJ Qualls in the house. Anyways,
he's always gonna get cast as a creeper.
So back to the bus. Yeah, I think that's definitely possible that they're flipping the bus to get this other guy, but like I'm gonna put my money on it's just an Easter egg, and I mean they're doing this to get Swango for whatever reason. I don't know why. Maybe to kill her.
It's just to me, and maybe this is just wishful thinking. It certainly is possible, but that Mr. Wrench is an important figure in the whole story. Because why did the second season end showing their origin story? You know, Wrench and Numbers. They can't show Numbers again. He's dead. But
I guess that's a really good point.
They really lingered on. I was like, who is she gonna see? For a second, I thought maybe Lester survived his icy fall and he's on the bus. Because I knew it was gonna be someone. I knew it was gonna be a familiar face because they just lingered on who she was looking at. You know, turned around.
No, that is a really good point. That I think that's the best argument you have. Actually, is that why even include that stuff in season 2 if like those two characters or in particular Mr. Wrench doesn't play an overarching story spanning all 3 seasons or beyond. But at the same time too, I guess you could argue that that's just their way of saying like here's the one unifying guy that unifies all the stories. I don't know.
Yeah, but even with season 2, it wasn't like a lost thing where they just passed in their former lives. It was like, okay, Hansi becomes these guys' mentor, like their mafia dad.
His dementor?
You know, like there's his mentor, but in a bad way because he did bad things. You know, like it wasn't just a passing thing. It was a strong connection.
Sure. I guess we'll find out next week. I'm sure we won't have to wait much longer than that to see.
I'm just hoping they didn't bring Wrench back just to kill him on a bus by a psycho in a wolf mask.
Yeah, I don't know how that's going to go down, but yeah, so that's a cool little thing.
Oh, I also wanted to mention something, just a quick little theory about the DJ Qualls scene. Gloria busts in working. So does that go into our Gloria technology doesn't work for Gloria thing?
Yeah, I mean that was what my mind immediately went to when that happened. I mean immediately when the camera shows the camera, I was like, oh, the camera's not going to work, like because the technology doesn't cooperate with Gloria. So yeah, I think that's what they're getting at, but I'm not really sure. Also,
I'm not sure what it all means.
It's definitely possible too that it was hacked because Varga is a hacker. So
and he's involved in the DJ Qualls thing.
Yeah, that would lend credence. Credence is that?
Yep.
Okay.
Sure.
That would lend credence to that theory that Qualls is involved with Varga and those guys. If Varga is indeed the one hacking the camera. But I lean more towards it is the supernatural element of this season. They have to have a weird supernatural thing. In season 2, they had what was it, like aliens or something? They had like lights in the
So just
sky.
super random UFO appearance during this massacre.
And really I never could figure out like how that tied into the story at all. Did you ever, like, I thought you kind of spit a theory at me one time of like just basically a generalization of how that ties into the theme of the season or something like that. I can't remember what you said though.
I think my only theory was that it was just there's a lot weirder shit going on with human beings than UFOs. Because what's her name? Peggy and Ed are running and she sees it and Ed's staring at it and Peggy goes, "It's just a flying saucer, Ed." And then they take off running.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think that's the only point of it is to say, yeah, like stranger than fiction, like weirder shit than aliens is happening right in front of our eyes every day because humans are so freaking weird and crazy.
And the same in season 1, you had the fish, like you had all these fake plague things, but then you legitimately had the fish that killed whatever his name's son was. You probably don't remember.
No, I don't. So what's the supernatural element of season 1?
Okay, in season 1, Lorne Malvo cons the supermarket king, played by Oliver Platt, I think his name is, by convincing him that like God is coming for him because he knows he stole the money that he used to start his business that was left there in the Fargo movie in the snow.
Right.
So he has like blood in the shower. He believes that's a sign, but Malvo set it up. There was some bugs in the supermarket, like a plague, which Malvo also set up. But then at the end of his storyline, like his son, who's like kind of special, and his like right-hand man are driving in a car, and there's just out of nowhere this freak storm of like fish falling from the sky. And you think it's part of a fake plague by Malvo at first, but then you're like, how could he arrange that? And you find out it was just a nature event, and it ended up killing his son and his man, and it was just a coincidence.
So fish raining from the sky killed his son?
Yep, they were driving in a car and they couldn't see because there was fish and then blood, of course, you know, from the fish falling, and then they just veer off and crash and die.
Holy shit. Okay, yeah, I forgot about that. But yeah, that's some supernatural shit. Every season has something.
So season 3 has played it down, at least up to this point. But the wolf thing, something with the wolf thing is singing to me. And then the Gloria thing.
No, I think at the very least, the supernatural element of this season is, yeah, Gloria is like technology literally does not work for her because,
no,
I mean, the only explanation you can give to the scene where she's in the bathroom with Winnie when we first meet her, when she tries to use all this bathroom stuff, it doesn't work at all for her, and then Winnie uses the same stuff and it works for her. I mean, there's no other explanation for that other than supernatural stuff, you know. So I think that's exactly,
and maybe that's why when Varga Googles her name, like literally nothing comes up.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's like the computer doesn't work with her name. Yeah. Like it just doesn't. It's crazy. Okay. Let's talk about Varga opening the presents at the beginning of the episode.
Yeah, he's the Grinch.
So is there like a timeline mix up here? Because isn't it when Varga and Emmett are talking towards the end of the episode, all the presents are still wrapped, right?
Yeah.
That's what I heard. I didn't notice this when I was watching it.
I did notice it, and in my mind, my reasoning was that he wrapped him up again.
But didn't he like open them? Didn't he open them all with a switchblade?
Yeah.
How do you rewrap presents that were opened with a switchblade?
Go find the wrapping paper.
I guess he could have rewrapped everything. That's a good point. But I don't know.
It's just like binging and purging.
Is it?
I mean, it's like gorging yourself, and then you're pretending that it didn't happen.
It never happened. So yeah, maybe that, because I was wondering. I was wondering what this scene meant, and if it's not a timeline thing, and you're right that he rewrapped everything. I mean, I think that ties in perfectly with his character. Then exactly, like he likes to just gorge himself on,
his present.
Yeah, like pleasure, like eating a
Yeah.
lot, purging, opening a bunch of presents, experiencing a huge rush of pleasure, and then wrapping them all back up.
Do you think that the whole con with Emmett, well, I don't know if it's a con or whatever he's doing with Emmett, is just a grand version of that?
Just like a big rush of pleasure. And then what's his version of wrapping everything back up again,
He's
or
just going to
purging?
leave destruction in his wake and be gone in the wind.
That doesn't seem to fit, though. I feel like he needs to do something to set it right, like wrap the presents back up, get rid of the food that you ate, or, so what is like, how does he sort of like,
I don't know. That's a good
yeah,
question. I don't know.
and no, I agree with you though, that I think this aspect of Varga's personality is going to play a bigger role in the overarching theme of his narrative, basically.
Yes. How
Yep.
terrifying was it when Cy and Emmett had their little disagreement in the car, and Cy finally, sets Emmett straight, and he's like, "Look, I'm your friend. Why would I team up with your brother to make less money? Like, it makes no sense." And
Turn
so Emmett
millions into thousands.
believes him, and then he's okay, and he looks up and he sees Varga. Like, that was legitimately terrifying.
Yeah, when he was standing
in
the window. Yeah,
and
I
that was
imagine
what set him off on his breakdown.
I imagine it's scarier when you're watching by yourself. Like, it's probably very, very creepy.
At night, yeah. I had my cat with me. She was
freaked out.
Still scary. She always freaks out, like when I react. Like last week when I reacted that Ray died, and this week when they showed Mr. Wrench, I was like, ah! And she was like, what the hell? Her own way. She reacts to my reactions.
Nice. It's good to have a cat that you can watch TV with.
Sometimes, yeah.
Let's talk about the chief. What's his name again? Is it Mo?
Chief Mo. His name's Mo.
You think he's named after? Oh, sorry, I was gonna say Chief Wiggum, but like I kind of had like Mo. I had Mo from The Simpsons mixed up with Wiggum for a second.
Oh,
yeah, both played by Hank Azaria.
Right.
Yeah, Chief Quincy Wiggum or something like that. Clancy Wiggum.
You're right. Something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, let's talk a little bit. He's pretty prominent in this episode, and I know through analyzing the episode, I kind of came to a realization that I didn't come to on my own, and I feel kind of stupid because I feel like it was
stupid.
I feel like it was
far-fetched.
I think it was pretty heavy-handed though when I look at it now. That and this is that the chief is actually colluding with Varga, and basically, he's
on the take.
Yeah, he's bought by Varga, and he's going to do whatever Varga tells him to do. And what is the evidence?
There's some people who don't buy into that theory. Is one piece of evidence, like his arrival as new chief or whatever. But my main thing this week was like how he kind of, the theory that Varga spewed out last week, or what they were going to use as their framing story, like that's guy comes to, like the first conclusion he has is that she did it.
Right, and he pretty much
that's circumstantial.
Yeah, he pretty much spouts word for word the exact the exact case. Why can't I think of the word for that? Like, he spouts word, like, not case, like the argument, or he spews
theory.
The theory. Yeah, let's say that. He spews word for word the exact theory that Varga said, that she was a battered wife. And it was like exactly what he said. So it makes you
injuries where you can't see them.
Yeah, it makes
that's something Varga said.
Yeah, so it makes you question, like, oh, was he given this dialogue to recite?
It also makes me wonder, though, going back a couple episodes, was this all planned? Because when they beat the shit out of her, they did not beat up her face. They could have.
That's a good point. Yeah, did they intend to? Yeah, did they intend to frame her for Ray's murder from the get-go? But then you have that scene where Varga clearly tells the goons to kill both of them. So, and that's after, but
I mean, he told them to kill Ray and
Swango.
Nikki, and then Emmett ends up doing Ray for them.
Which means, yeah, but if they didn't see that coming, why would they put the bruises on her,
If they wanted to just kill her. That's what I thought. When they ordered the hit on her, I was like, then why did you just beat her up last time? Why didn't you just kill her then?
I guess maybe because things have escalated, and they feel like, okay, we gotta get rid of these two now. It's too,
which seems to indicate that it wasn't all planned out. So maybe it was a coincidence.
It is interesting to think about, though, and I'm sure they could make it work in the story, especially with the theme of perception and all that.
Yeah, so. That's a really good point. Like, you could spin this yarn that this was all planned out. The not hitting her in the face.
Yep.
The Ray killing, or Emmett killing Ray. But in reality, these are all loosely connected, but not like directly cause and effect.
Yeah, there's just a couple little details they would have to sort out, but I'm sure the Fargo writers are more than capable of doing so.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, so what more is there to say about Chief in this episode? I'm sure there's more. I mean, you want to talk about Gloria and Winnie?
Gloria kicked ass in this episode. Like, I've been waiting for this Gloria to come along. Like, when she was at the beginning of the episode, like, spouting word for word the theory, it shows just how smart she is, how much work she's done on this, and how much sense it makes. And yet you have these two authority figures, like, just being, a wall. It's so frustrating.
Yeah, there's definitely a theme of patriarchy here, and it makes
the fact that it's two dudes and two women was not lost on me.
Yeah, and it makes you wonder about like how many cases over, how many cases in the world ever, like probably so many cases that have been like messed up or left unsolved just because of chauvinism or maybe not even just male to female power trips, but any kind of like authority figure that just sort of like won't hear the other side out. How many cases get left unsolved because of stuff like that?
And how often do they use the reasoning that he did? If it's a mashed potato,
if
the potato got mashed. But it's like sometimes things are more intricate and more complicated, Sometimes you do need to dig a little bit. And the fact that so much like cops and everything, detectives, sometimes they get inundated with cases and they feel like they have to, get through them as quickly and painlessly as possible. But sometimes that's just not the way it is. And it's frustrating. It reminds me of not to get too far off the beaten path, but I just watched something on Netflix called The Keepers. It's a documentary, but it's just, they run into, it's a true story. So they run into, bureaucracy and, difficult topics that people don't want to address. And so they don't. They take the easiest road,
Right. Yeah. Like just avoidance of conflict. And that kind of reminds me of the scene with Yuri and God, what's the deputy's
Donnie,
name?
He took the easiest road. He didn't want to, you could tell, but I was like, Donnie, get out of there. You don't want to die.
And it's kind of a commentary on like how our justice system is today. It's kind of a house of cards in some ways. Like when a person like Yuri walks into that place and challenges them, like, what are you going to do about it? Like I think a lot of cops like, and not saying anything bad about like real cops, because I'm sure most of them are great, but there is this question of like how much of the system is just smoke and mirrors. Like it's like we follow these rules because we're supposed to, but like this guy walks in and says, "You think you see me, but you don't," and like basically just scares him out of his own office. Doesn't do what he's told. It's unsettling in a way.
Oh, very. Plus, he's holding a wolf's head. But no,
that doesn't hurt.
It reminded me a lot of another season 1 moment, which again you may not remember because you watched it a while ago, but Colin Hanks' character, Gus, his name is, he encounters Malvo, Billy Bob Thornton, and Malvo does kind of the same thing. He's like, he scares him off, and that haunts Gus till the end of the very end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
And
just the fact that like your little rules and authority, it doesn't hold up with everybody. Like if someone just steps in there and stands in your way,
Yep. And Gus sees the destruction that Malvo, incurs, and what's Donnie gonna think if he finds out that this wolf man Yuri is responsible for this huge bus crash? Like, he's gonna be like, shit, I could have stopped him. I had a gun in my hand, but I didn't.
So real quick, was like Yuri and Earbuds, were they the ones that walked in front of the bus too? Are we to assume that?
Yeah, Yuri jumped out like a wolf. He had the wolf thing on.
Oh, okay. Because like I couldn't see like who stepped in front of the bus.
Was Earbuds there? Were there other people there?
I want to say
it was just Yuri.
No, I want to say that there were two people there. And whoever walked in front of the bus, like it wasn't a clear shot of who was. I mean, Yuri was there after the bus crashed, but it wasn't like a clear shot of who walked in front of it. So I just wasn't like sure. I might have to go back and rewatch that part. But
yeah, same, because that was a little unclear. I was still really excited about Wrench, and then suddenly he might be dead.
Right.
And Nikki might be dead again.
So Emmett had some blood on his shirt.
Yeah, that helped.
He claims it's red wine from lunch. Do you think that's gonna bite him in the ass, or is it just like?
I think he's pretty effed.
It's a funny little thing. Oh, he's effed.
Yeah, I mean, he can't get one past Winnie. He definitely can't get one past Gloria. So it's only a matter of time for Emmett.
Right. I mean, how can he get away with it? There's no way.
He's pretty terrible at his alibi.
Mm-hmm. I'm just looking over my notes here, seeing what we missed. If you got anything, go ahead.
What did Nikki mean when she said follow the money?
Yes, that's a good question.
What money is she talking about?
I don't know.
I think she's trying to get him. She's trying to point her towards Varga. She doesn't know Varga's name. She saw him. I think that was what she was trying to do. Right?
Maybe.
Because she had that figured out when she saw that Varga with the two goons by the truck. She had deduced that Varga's running things and running Emmett. And so I think that's what she's trying to say.
Right. But like what money will lead to Varga? I'm not really sure.
Probably if she goes to the safety deposit box, she'll see what's left of, the $1 million they have put away. And then
the money
they'll figure out they borrowed $1 million from, and then so on.
Unfortunately, though, if Varga does turn out to just be some guy, like they will follow the money and find not Varga, but whoever actually lent the money,
Yeah.
And they won't be involved. So, I don't know. I guess we'll see. I don't really have much of a theory on that one, but it was one of those mysteries that makes it worth tuning in next week for sure.
Oh, it's heating up. We're in kind of the home stretch now.
Yeah. Did you see that part? Who was it again that was doing this? Was it the deputy? Somebody was on the like early version of Tinder.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was Donnie, the deputy.
Yeah, was it?
He was swiping away.
Do you think it was like? Do you think Tinder was around in 2010, or was it like that one where it kind of spawned off of where it's like hot or not, where it's like?
I don't think Tinder's been around that long.
Yeah, I don't know if Tinder was around 2010. It might just be like that crude original thing where it was like, would you or wouldn't you swipe left or right? That sort of thing.
Yeah, could be. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I just thought that was really funny. I like that.
It was. I like that guy a lot. I wish he got more scenes. I think he's really funny.
He might be around again. I mean,
Well, he's gonna have to tell Gloria what happened.
For sure. Yeah, so when Swango saw the picture of the murder, it looked like she had kind of deduced something. Do you think she has some idea that the glass is the broken glass from the stamp, or?
Well, they removed, I don't know how it's just a piece of glass, but she could deduce, you know, where would the glass come from? She knows how important the stamp was.
Right.
It's possible she could form a theory with very little evidence, but
she would have to be really smart to do so. But I don't know. She had this look on her face, like it was like immediately like, aha, you know, like I think I know what happened. So do you think she suspects Emmett is the murderer?
Well, she doesn't think highly of Emmett, but now she knows that these goons and this other guy's involved. So I don't know.
Right. It's probably more likely than not that she assumes like Varga is the murderer or one of the goons.
She knows it's and she probably thinks Emmett is willingly, embroiled in this. And so you point to one, you point to all of them.
Right. She just knows it's them as a whole. She probably doesn't suspect Emmett accidentally killed him with the stamp.
I'm sure she doesn't think that's what happened. She especially probably doesn't think that Ray died because he was refusing the stamp. She'd murder him all over again if she knew that was what happened.
Right. Yep. All right. Well, anything else you want to talk about from the episode?
I don't. I thought it was a humdinger.
No, I really enjoyed it as well.
I loved it.
Yeah. So we still got 3 episodes left. So that's that's awesome. We've had a lot of great content from this season, and there's still 3 more episodes to go. I think the will the finale be a little bit longer, or do you think they'll stick to like 3 just solid hours?
Well, the first episode was longer. I know the finale is usually around 60 minutes, I want to say.
Yeah, they haven't really gone over too much since the early episodes, but
I would bet the last one's kind of long. But that's complete. But yeah,
so we got plenty of content left, so that's cool. Are we still going with like who's gonna get whacked next week?
With our whack list? Yeah. I had a new one. Now I forgot. Oh, you go.
I don't know. I'm starting to feel less and less like Sai is a problem, or like
Sai's gonna be your last man standing. And
I know, like in Peter and the Wolf, grandfather. I mean, he doesn't die, so he'll probably be
nobody else dies.
Yeah, good point. I don't know. I mean, Gloria can't die next episode. Who is your other person to die?
You want me to say? You mean right now?
Yeah, because I don't have one, so I'll just wing it.
I'm gonna say this to make it not be true because I never have gotten this right, and so I'm hoping this is gonna work. So I'm gonna say Mr. Wrench.
Oh, Mr. Wrench! Damn.
I hope I'm wrong.
Because you don't want that to happen, right?
No, absolutely not.
Right. Let's see. Maybe I'll go with the deputy. But I mean, I feel like they didn't kill it.
He's gonna talk to Gloria.
He didn't kill him right there, so like, why kill him later?
He was gonna die right there.
Yeah, why kill him later? It seems like these guys are leaving everyone alive. Like they're not the murdering type apparently except for the one time Varga. Oh no! At the very first time we see them, they throw that one guy over the edge. So I can't say that
they're definitely murderers. Yeah. We just have only seen one murder so far.
Yeah. Shit. I just don't think there's gonna be much killing. It's everyone seems to be
you can
alive.
Pick a red shirt. I would maybe go with the widow.
Or the widow Goldfarb. That's a good one. Can I just steal that from you?
Yeah. That was my other choice.
I'm just gonna steal Katie's guess and call it my own.
Hopefully he's right and I'm wrong.
Goldfarb. There you go.
Got it.
All right. Any final thoughts?
Nope. I am ready for episode 8.
Alrighty. Sounds good. All right. We'll see you guys next time. You can follow us on Twitter at TV is our real mom, and please like, comment, favorite, subscribe, all that good stuff. And we'll see you next time. Have a good one.
Bye.